fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. Surprise. It's a surprise edition. And there's some things that happened that has made this one necessary. And James Henry wanted to get on here and talk to you about what's transpired with two of the individuals that are running for NBA on the CLC slate. And the two individuals, Orlando Gonzalez and Debbie Dixon, have both announced recently that they're going to run for NBA in their respective region. And both of them are RAAs and have a very prestigious career as an RAA. They are well-known, well-loved, have done a fantastic job in that position. And so Renfro has terminated both of them, and for no reason other than they were running for business agent on the CLC slate. Now, here's the issue. The business agents that are in those current regions have not announced whether or not they're going to run. And so basically, this is Renfro terminating two individuals because they said that they were going to run for NBA. And it's cowardice on a biblical scale. Now, I've been calling this motherfucker a coward forever because it's what he is. He's a punk bitch is all he is. And I've always said he's a coward. It's in his bones. He's a cowardly motherfucker. And so I'm going to do an episode on the 28th, and I'm going to talk about it how I talk about it. But tonight's not about me. Okay, tonight's about Orlando and Debbie. They're going to be on as well. They did not know that they were going to do an episode of From 8 Arbitration. It's kind of caught them off guard, but James wanted them to come on, as well as John Cruz, who is, y'all know I love John Cruz from Brooklyn, and so he's on as well. But, yeah, it kind of caught them off guard. That they didn't know what they were coming on this Zoom for. They thought it was to speak, and then James said, hey, we're going to do an episode. And so, yes, they talk about what happened. I'm going to play for you, and I'm going to do it again on the 28th. Renfro terminated Orlando. Now, this guy was an RAA that did a magnificent job. And he's done it for over a decade. He has served the city letter carrier and done a magnificent job. And Renfro fired him over voicemail, which is the most cowardly thing I've ever heard of. I've never heard of anything more cowardly than the president of a union now, even though he's a cowardly punk bitch, the president of a union terminating somebody with such a prestigious career over voicemail. And it's just as bad for Debbie Dixon, who was kind of sabotaged by her business agent. Now, her business agent was on my episode a while back. It's from Region 2. And if y'all can remember, he got on here just kissing Renfro's ass, talking about how Renfro was truthful and he's never known Renfro to be untruthful and does a great job. And I'm like, God dang, dude, you know, you're about to suck my drawers off. You know, you're kissing this dude's ass so much. And so, yeah. And so he sets up his own RAA. He sets her up, which is cowardly. And she talks about that. But I'm going to play this for you. This is Orlando getting terminated by Renfro on voicemail. Now, it's up on social media, but I want you to listen to this, and then we're going to get into the Zoom with James Henry, okay? But here's him being terminated on voicemail by your president. Here it is.
Orlando, it's Brian Renfro. I'll let you know that per my responsibility and authority in the NLC Constitution, I have made the decision that effective immediately you will no longer serve as REA in Region 15. You'll need to coordinate with Bruce a time to come into the office and get your personal belongings and turn in any NLC property that you have to him. If you have any questions, you should reach out to Ken Raker, our Director of HR. We appreciate the work you've done for the letter carriers in Region 15 and wish you the best in the future. Take care.
Now that's it. That's him firing an RAA with such a distinguished career for our union. Almost 40 years of city letter carrier, and you got the most worthless individual that's ever held a position for the union terminating him over voicemail. And so, again, I'm going to do my episode on the 28th like I do. And I will tell y'all exactly how I feel. But it's not about me tonight, okay? So here it is. You've got James Henry, who is, you will hear a side of him that you've not heard before, okay? And he is outraged, as he should be. Orlando and Debbie will also be on, and John Cruz, okay? So I will see y'all on the 28th. I'll give my spin on it and let y'all know exactly how I feel. But tonight's not about me, it's about them, okay? I love y'all very much, Light Blue. Look, we're going to win this thing in 26. It's inevitable. This kind of stuff is only going to get worse. Trust me, they're going to come out of the woodworks coming after us because they know that they're getting beat. And they know they're going to lose. And so this is only, the first phase of this bullshit. You're going to see a lot of stuff come out. All right? We will win. We are going to win in 26. I promise you that. But, yeah. So here we go. Cowardice and courage. We're dealing with those two things. Cowardice from your president and courage from these two individuals that risked it all to say, I'm going to do better. I'm going to run. Make sure that the city letter carrier is taken care of better than it has been, and they lose it all. They lose their livelihood having to go back to carrying mail. And so cowardice and courage, that's what we're dealing with, all right? I'll talk to y'all later. I love you. Bye. All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. I know I told you I was not going to do another episode until the 28th, but some things have changed. There's some things that have happened to two of the people that are running for position on the CLC slate, and Brian Renfro has decided to terminate them. And it's all over social media. If you've not heard it, Brian Renfro terminated one individual by voicemail. I've dealt with, and I talked about this on social media, on my Facebook page, that I've dealt with a lot of cowardice in my life. You experienced cowardice up at the jail when I was a correctional officer. You experienced it all the time because you'd be running into some shit and you would know who was about that action because there'd be guards that would be hiding. And that's cowardice. And so I've dealt with cowardice a lot during my life. This is numero uno. This is the top of the list. And like I said on my Facebook page, this takes the cake because Brian Renfro terminated this gentleman via voicemail. And so I'm going to talk about this at length on the 28th when I come back. I'm going to talk about it the way that I do. But I've got some individuals on tonight that want to talk about it. I got the Wolf, James Henry's on, and I'm going to hand it over to him, and he can talk about his frustration. And I'll tell you, I've not seen James frustrated like this before, and I'm with him on that. And every letter carrier in the country should be frustrated at the cowardice exhibited by this president who's shown nothing but cowardice. I talk about it all the time. Really, we shouldn't be surprised by the cowardice of this motherfucker because that's all he knows is cowardice. And so, and it's raised its head again. But I'm going to turn it over to James. Like I said, I will be back on the 28th and I will talk about it the way that I do. But it's not about me tonight. It's about these two individuals that we love that have stepped up for the city letter carrier. That's all they've done is stepped up for the city letter carrier, and to be treated like this by such a failing piece of shit president, I'm going to stop. I'm going to let James take this. James, I know you're frustrated, brother. We just got off a Zoom and you're still frustrated. I can see your face now. You're still frustrated, but I'm going to let you talk about what happened, your frustration, and then you lead it where it needs to go. Okay, my brother?
All right, my brother. Tonight is a very, very trying night for me. It's trying in the sense that everything that we as a union espouse, everything that we expect out of our leadership has been demonstrated that has been nothing but fool's gold in some form or fashion when it comes to some of our leadership. I am not frustrated, just frustrated, as Corey said. I am outraged. I am genuinely outraged by the fact that you have two long-term letter carriers, union activists that have served in their capacity of RAA, Regional Administrative Assistants, in excess of a decade, have done nothing but act on behalf of the interests of the letter carrier. And as such, to be unceremoniously, unmeritoriously terminated from their position as regional administrative assistants, effective immediately without notice, is not only repugnant behavior, not only is it abhorrent, not only is it reprehensible, it is behavior that you would expect out of management. It is behavior that is the antithesis of everything that this union is supposed to be about. The National Association of Letter Carriers is supposed to be a brother and sisterhood, a fraternity of members that says that we believe in fair and due process, that we believe in making sure that our letter carriers are treated fairly, that we believe that you should not be subjected to a hostile work environment. But yet, these individuals who laid it all on the altar, literally, was willing to sacrifice their entire livelihood for the sake of representing you, the rank and file letter carriers, and to receive a voice message from our national president, meaning Orlando Gonzalez, a now former regional administrative assistant out of Region 15, the New York area, to receive termination by voicemail lacks any kind of courage, any kind of decency, any kind of just pure professionalism. Only time that you have to do something in the cover of darkness without facing somebody is when you're ashamed of what you're doing, when you know it's wrong. What happened to both Orlando and to Debbie Dixon, a former RAA out of Region 2, is no less than something that you would find in some novel. That these two deserve to be celebrated. These two have demonstrated courage that you can line people up butthole to belly button from New York to Los Angeles, and you might find two in that line that demonstrates that they have the courage that these two have to stand in and on behalf of letter carriers. Not only what the president did was reprehensible, repugnant, abhorrent, shameful, it also was anti-democratic. It was anti-union. And these two deserve way, way, way more than that. And I tell you that this is a situation of not only taking unacceptable behavior and being unprofessional, this is a matter of our national president acting in a manner that we as letter carriers and union members would never expect to happen to anyone that has paid their union dues and has served this union in the capacity and with the level of degree of devotion that these two have. I unequivocally denounce the termination of these two. I unequivocally denounce the action that was taken to fire them. I tell you, I have never in my entire life been in a situation where those that have given so much have been treated with such little dignity and respect. We're talking about 10 days before Christmas. You tell me, what would have been the difference in waiting till the 1st of January? So at least mentally that they could have enjoyed their holidays. There would have been no difference. I'm going to tell you what the difference truly is because it was meant to inflict cruelty. That's what the difference is. Doing it now versus doing it the first of the year was to inflict cruelty. Not only inflict cruelty upon them and their family, but to send a message to everyone out in the field that if you dare, if you have the unmitigated gall to stand up for what you believe in, and you don't support what I do, if I tell you that it's raining outside and the sun is shining, you best go along with it. Or you stand in a real chance of getting fired. He knows that the strongest instinct to man is self-preservation. And we've already had all kind of doubts about individuals that is on our executive board having the courage to stand up for what they believe in. About individuals out in the field that's in a leadership position standing up for what they believe in. If this was not meant to inflict cruelty upon both Debbie Dixon and Orlando Gonzalez, it certainly had the dual effect of imposing a chilling effect on anyone that will be willing to stand up, because they know that they have to make a choice between paying my bills or being a person of conviction. Have to make a choice between keeping the standard of living that I have or living with myself with a good conscience. And as I said here, most people are not willing to do that. Most people cannot. And I cannot tell you again how much I am disgusted, how much I am just flabbergasted, how much I am ashamed to be in the ranks of the current administration. And this happens here to these individuals. I said, decency and professional courtesy is always in order. And this was completely devoid of any modicum of decency whatsoever. Whatsoever. I am a situational person. I understand about politics. I'm a retired Marine. And knowing about going through boot camp, they would teach you about warfare. And even in warfare, there are rules that you must adhere to. Hence why you have war crimes. Even a non-combatant, you don't get to go bomb a school. You don't get to go bomb a hospital. You don't get to bomb or kill unarmed individuals. There was no cause, no just cause, no cause whatsoever to terminate both Debbie and Orlando, none other than the fact that they had the unmitigated gall to say that I believe that this union should be reformed. That they had the unmitigated gall to say that this union needs to be reformed. That they had the unmitigated gall to say that I am joining with like-minded union activists in the CLC to seek the change that is necessary. And if there's ever been an exhibit A as to why change should occur, and it's not only should occur, but it's absolutely needed, it is what is before you right now. It is what is before you right now. We fight daily to make sure that our letter carriers are treated right. Fight daily for that. And for them to be unmeritoriously and unceremoniously terminated without reason, without cause, is absolutely a shame. But I tell you this one thing, brothers and sisters, Debbie and Orlando should be celebrated. The CLC, the concerned letter carriers, will stand behind them all the way. We got their backs like vertebrae. I tell you this one, brothers and sisters, not only when it comes to management, but when it comes to this union, we will not bow, we will not give up seeking reform. You hear me talking about my faith all the time. I don't kneel my knee for nobody except Christ. And we will not kneel our knee. We will not bend our knee under the weight of being suppressed, under the weight of people thinking that they should remain in power indefinitely, that somehow that is their birthright to be president of this union, that somehow that they're a blue blood, that they was born into this position. No one, not one, is entitled to this position. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in this capacity and leadership in the union, and it should be treated as such. And it should not be no one, especially dedicated union activists like Orlando and Debbie, should not be treated like they're gum under somebody's shoe. Well, right now, they're going to go back and they're going to carry mail. We're going to have, like we've been fighting for, rank and file letter carriers on the front lines, not only fighting for you, but fighting with you. And I implore each and every single one of you brothers and sisters out there to ensure that you make sure that your outrage is registered with the NLC, both at the regional level, local level, and headquarters. Make sure that you get every single letter carrier out there to vote, because this happened to them. Trust me. The job you save may be your own. These are people that genuinely care about you. They laid it all on the altar. And if you treat your own this way, if the president treats our own this way, what do you think it's going to do to people that don't even know? Think your best interest is going to be looked after? Look no further than earlier this year, when the will of the membership was discarded and disregarded, when overwhelmingly 71% says no to the contract and was shoved down our throat anyway. Brothers and sisters, this is fear in its raw and unclothed form. I will tell you, you can define fear one or two ways. You can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. I assure you that the CLC will not forget everything and run. Debbie and Orlando will not forget everything and run. In fact, we will face everything and we will rise. This very situation will come out in the best interest of those two and thereby with the letter carriers. Because when the president came after Orlando, came after Debbie, they came after the CLC, the concerned letter carriers. Hence our name, concerned letter carriers. Coming after us is the exact same thing coming after letter carriers, the rank and file letter carriers on the floor. Because these are individuals that represent you and was willing and able to put everything on the line to represent letter carriers. And they should be celebrated for their courage. And when you have an opportunity in those that know them, make sure you wrap your arms around them. Make sure you encourage them. Because 2026 is going to tell the tale as to where this direction of this union is going. So I want to be able to right now turn it over to Orlando Gonzalez and let him tell his story right quick.
Thank you, James. Yes, I am Orlando Gonzalez. Most recently, I was an RA until yesterday, I believe. An RA Region 15. I know I did get a lot of phone calls from everybody out there, and I do appreciate the support. I just wanted to let everybody know that, no matter what happens to me, I believe I made the right choice in joining the concerned letter carriers. You guys have a movement that I absolutely believe in. And by becoming part of it, I knew there'd probably be some backlash, but I didn't think it would be something like this. For me, anybody who has worked with me before knows that I'm all about letter carriers. I'm always used to helping people. I'm not a person that asks for help. I'm not going to ask you for help. I'm going to ask you to help yourself, because like James has said, if this happened to me, and I've been doing this for 16 years. If it was done to me like this, you can only imagine what they would do to you. I am running for you. Whatever happens to me is going to happen to me, but I want to make sure that everybody understands. I'm going to stay focused to where the message should be. At the end of the day, we have a very simple job to do. There's mainly two things. One is to inspire and motivate. How do you inspire? By teaching people, educating them. It's my mantra of what I do. And how do you motivate them? You give them opportunities to do what they learn. That's always been my mantra. This is going to be obviously a little bit different, but I have full confidence that I have done my job correctly, and I have enough people out there that have been reaching out. Thank you so much. That have been reaching out to say that they're with the concerned letter carriers and will be voting for me. I am a little bit surprised that my branch hasn't shown that much towards me yet. I believe they're probably caught up in their own politics. Work is one thing, politics is another. Me, I'm a straight shooter, always been. So for whatever reason they have, again, I'm more concerned about the entire region, all the work that we've done, everybody who's reached out, and I just want to let everybody know that I am going to be in this for the long haul. No matter what they try to do to me, my name is going to stay in the hat, because I believe that I am the best candidate for Region 15, and those out there, those that have worked with me in the field, have expressed that to me, and I really do appreciate it. But now it's time to show that we're not going to get pushed around, and that we have a better place to go to get to than where we are right now. So again, I do appreciate all the support. And I look forward to working with all of you still. I'm not an RAA, but almost everybody has my personal number. So just reach out as you always would, and I'll be here for you for as long as I can. And again, 2026 is going to be very important. So please get ready to vote. Please get ready to vote, because that's what it's going to take at the end of the day. And I believe in the membership, and I believe in the work that we've done. And I'm looking forward to it all. Thank you.
I want to turn it over now to President of Branch 41, John Cruz.
How you doing? Thank you, Brother James. Well, as we all know, that what was done to Orlando Gonzalez and to Debbie was something that was just crazy. It was just crazy. And the only reason why it was done, especially, I don't know the situation with Debbie, but I'm sure it was done for the same reason that Orlando was up, because they decided to become candidates for NBA. But Brian has been targeting Orlando for the longest. Not so long ago, they sent another executive board member to investigate at Region 15 what's going on. And once that executive board member found out that there was nothing that was going on, and that Orlando was basically the one that was running the office, there was nothing that can be done. And they've been trying to terminate him for a while. So now, once he put his name in the hat, now this was his excuse to terminate him. This man has been doing this for 16 years, and he's been loyal to the membership. He's been loyal to the membership, always to the membership. And I remember when I first met Orlando, he's always been there for the membership. And he told me to stay focused from day one. When I was just a rank and file member, I wasn't in no leadership capacity. I was just a rank and file member. And he always taught me from the beginning what to do and how to do things. And he's always been a great leader. And what this man has done, I look at it like this, and pardon me for what I'm going to say. Fidel Castro is an angel compared to our Lord Farquhar that is running this union right now. Because this union is a great union, but unfortunately, the leadership that we have is what destroys the union. It's just like the United States Postal Service is a great organization. It's just the leadership that runs the organization. And right now, what he is doing to our membership is destroying our membership and just affecting people, especially by removing these two individuals from NBA. But my number one question is, where is Orlando Gonzalez, branch president, Charlie Heege, and what is he doing for Orlando Gonzalez, standing up for him when he should be standing up for him? Because if Orlando is not my member from branch 41, but if he was my member, I would be tap dancing on top of Brian Renfro's desk in Washington, D.C. And that's all I have to say right now. Charlie Heege, where are you right now doing, and what are you doing for Orlando Gonzalez at this point right now? Thank you.
I appreciate that, Cruz. I also want to mention that the way it was done also leaves me bewildered. I mean, I got a voicemail that he left me. In that voicemail, he also asked me to reach out to Ken Raker, who's our HR person in DC, and they dropped my email access, so I can't even reach out to anyone. So the voicemail was left. All my equipment was shut down, so I can't even contact anyone. So it shows you just how haphazard. And again, I don't know what's going through his mind, but obviously, this doesn't seem like if it was thought through properly. But I'm noticing a lot of the things that are happening up there now seems to be kind of a trend.
Well, I can tell you this here. The thing about, and I'm going to bring Debbie in here in a hot second, but the reality of it is that one of the first acts of our current president was firing 2 RAs previously on day one. Calvin Brooke is out of Region 1 and Don Lowry out of Region 9. But the reality of it is as well, what is really, it really is a situation of inconsistency and seemingly personal, is because the NLC has precedents of other RAs and staff members running and seeking higher positions in the union and were not terminated, some at all, but the last two, when they said Calvin Brookins and Don Lowry, at least he waited until after the election. They was allowed to run their campaign, stay gainfully employed, and then got terminated and had a pretty significant period of time where they continued to get paid. But in this instance, weeks after declaring your candidacy both to run for NBA, you get fired. When others, that did not happen, except for those 2 occasions that I was telling you about. Everyone previously was allowed to run for their positions. And we have guidance that a member, which you are, should be allowed to run for office without fear of reprisal or retaliation. That must just be in theory, because it's certainly not in practice. Debbie?
Debbie Dixon here, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and give you a rundown of what the actual phone call was, because to me, the aspect of it lasting 30 to 40 seconds after I have given almost 11 years as an RAA is pathetic. And there's a lot of cowardice in how it was done. And I want to be sure that it is known that the current NBA, he assisted in my termination. And I'll go through this and tell you how. Yesterday morning, I received a phone call, and it was from Nick Vafiatis's cell phone. I answered, "Hey, Nick." He says, "Hey, Deb, hold on." And then I hear 3 seconds later, "Hey, Brian, you there?" He connected Brian into a 3-way phone call with us. Cowardly on Brian's part, doesn't even call me himself. But he goes into, "Yes, I'm here. Debbie, this is Brian Renfro. Effective immediately. You are no longer RAA for Region 2. You will be paid until January 29th so you can figure out what you want to do. If you have any questions, you can call HR, Ken Raker, and then let me know that I can get a hold of Nick or someone else to arrange getting my personal items out of the office and hand in my work equipment." Very last thing he said was, "Thank you for your service," and something along the lines of, "Hope you do well." At that point in time, uh, I've been dealing with this crap in this office, my duties being taken away for well over 2.5 years from the NBA. And I have learned when to speak, when not to speak. And at that point in time, I am positive they wanted my reaction and wanted me to be pissed. I'm not giving them what they want. I turned around and just click. Done. Hung up on Brian Renfro and Nick Vafiatis. So that was the actual phone call. For me afterwards, sure, was I mad? Yeah, but with what I've learned and dealt with duties being taken away and so forth in the office, excluded from things, no meetings in our office for years, nobody on the same page, I turned around and decided, you're not getting mad. You're going to make lemonade out of lemons. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go back and I'm going to deliver mail and I'm going to learn how to drive FFVs. I never drove an FFV before. I'm going to use the scanners and learn what I haven't seen in over 10 years, almost 11. I'm going to learn the mail dynamics. Parcels weren't as big as they are now, so I'll be taking a look at that. Going to Carrier Academy. I've already talked to the postmaster in my office, supervisor in my office, and they're more than willing to help me out. And it's actually been a good, smooth type of thing. And I think that's because I realized the moment I hung up is they did not hurt me. They hurt themselves. Because this is exactly the piece of crap behavior that doesn't belong in our union. We are brothers and sisters in a union who are allowed to have our own opinion, to decide if we want to run for a position. And when you want to take that authority and push people out, I think it's absolute crap. And we need to get rid of that. So that's exactly what I'm focusing on. I want everyone to know how I've been treated. I want everyone to know that I will be fighting to win this election for NBA so letter carriers on the workroom floor do not have leadership in Region 2 like they have had in the past, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, whatever it's been. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. And by the love that was poured out on me yesterday, today, starting at 6:30 in the morning, I have a branch president offering to pay for my plane ticket to go to their union meeting because they so want me there. We have people who are making phone calls for me, people who have been on the fence about who they would like to vote for. As of yesterday and today, they're not on the fence anymore. They made up their mind, they're voting CLC. So if you think you hurt me, I am going to work for a whole entire year to allow you to know, Brian and Nick, you did not hurt me. You hurt the letter carriers and you sealed your fate. That's about all I got to say, James.
Well, amen. I want you to know that I applaud you. The CLC applaud you. And the letter carriers of the Postal Service of this union are absolutely, they are in a situation where they are grateful and they are benefited by your courage and by your actions and by the job that you have done on behalf of letter carriers, representing letter carriers for decades. Debbie, how many years you have with the Postal Service?
38 years with the Postal Service.
How many years do you have with the Postal Service, Orlando?
You.
How many years you have with the Postal Service?
35 years.
38 years, 35 years. You have two individuals approaching 40 years of employment. At least the Postal Service, when they terminate you, they do it to your face. They walk you off the floor. You know, you deserve a hand and applause for your decades of dedication and devotion to the letter carriers. And you should absolutely, unequivocally be celebrated for having the courage at this point where you could have just said, hey, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and sat on the sidelines. You jumped into the arena. You got into the fight to reform this union, to make sure that letter carriers get what they deserve. And that is to be placed numero uno, to be placed as priority one by this union to represent their interests and not their own. Like I said, no one is a blue blood. No one was born into this position. No one. You don't have no entitlement to be the overseer, the president or leadership in any capacity indefinitely, and to somehow be offended by someone that disagrees with you, to somehow be offended that someone seeks to exercise their God-given inherent constitutional right to seek any position in this union. It is unthinkable, unconscionable that you were treated this way. And I can tell you, brothers and sisters, when the CLC gets in, when the concerned letter carriers gets in, meaning that is our slate name, but we are NLC all the way. I've often said, and this is something that obviously our president has forgotten, that I'm not the union. He's not the union. Nobody down at 100 Indiana Northwest Avenue in Washington, D.C. are the union. The only union that is the rank and file members on the floor. And I know that you'll be donning your uniform here within about a month or so, being down there as rank and file members yet again. But my message to the president here is that I put on my pants one leg at a time. He put on his pants one leg at a time. He is not better than you or those letter carriers down on the workroom floor. And like I said, we will not bend. We don't bend, we don't bend, we don't bow, and we will not give up until 2026 declares that this movement, which it is, with purpose, is duly installed. And the change that this union and these letter carriers are seeking will come to fruition. And one thing that I promise you, should I ascend to the presidency, that this type of behavior will never occur. Will never occur. Like my man Corey say, I tell you that on my life. As we say in the hood, I put that on my mama. You'll never, ever have to worry about you exercising your rights and you being punished for it. I want to say thank you to you and Orlando, a man, John Cruz, who is a fantastic president. And when he said that if this had happened to his member, that he would be dancing on the president's desk in Washington, D.C., trust me, I believe him. And every president should be. When you don't stand up for what you believe in, you're as wrong as the wrongest self. So either people do or don't do things for one or two reasons, either because they don't know or they don't care. Well, we do know that your president, Orlando, knows that you've been terminated. So it's safe to assume that because you have not heard from him, and there doesn't seem to be any defense or outrage on his behalf, but yet he's running for national trustee.
That is correct.
In a higher level position. He's running for national trustee, his own member of his own branch, and he's not outraged, at least by the mere fact of how you were terminated, notwithstanding the fact that you in fact were terminated, but how you were. Leaders lead from the front. Leaders lead from the front. And he should be leading the charge and making sure that everybody knows that you were done dirty, that Debbie was done dirty. And so with that being said, I'm going to encourage you to stay and be encouraged and know that your brothers and sisters of this union got your back like vertebrae. I got your back like vertebrae. John Court, all of us. So hang in there. And letter carriers, every single one of you out there, join the CLC movement. Go on concernedlettercarriers.com. Endorse us. Make sure that you provide your information. Go on our Facebook so you can be informed, on our TikTok, on our YouTube, on our X, on our Instagram. All concerned letter carriers. You Google it, it'll come up. Because it's going to be you and you alone, that's going to tell the tale, that's going to make the difference. And those of you that were seeking or thinking about seeking higher level positions in this union to make a difference, give us a call. There's room for everybody to do something. So don't be afraid. Don't fear. We will fight, and we will not, like I said, we'll not only fight for you, but we're going to fight with you. Not just you two, but the letter carriers as a whole. Corey?
All right, my brother. Hey, maybe I don't need to do an episode on the 28th. that's, that's the wolf for you. That's the side that y'all don't get to see, but I get to see it quite often. But I don't know that I've ever seen him that excited, because it's a travesty is what's happened. And the fact that you can't announce that you're going to run for a position and not fear for your job in a union, it's beyond me that you would say, hey, I think that I have something to offer. I think that I've done this long enough. I know enough that I have something to offer. So I'm going to run for a position and get fired. Is the exact opposite of what the union stands for. And so I'm going to cut this off because, like I said, I am going to do one on the 28th, and I'll let you know exactly how I feel about it. But it wasn't about me tonight. But again, everybody have a very Merry Christmas. I know that this is somber. It is. It's somber. It's devastating that this has happened to two people with such a great reputation that have done so much for the city letter care, because that's what it's all about. And but we will overcome this because both of them will both win their respective regions come in 2026. There's no doubt about it. And that's exactly why this was done, because Renfro knows that they will win. They're a legitimate threat. The two that they're going to beat are have become worthless Renfro lackeys. And I had one of them on my podcast, and he was kissing Renfro's ass so bad it almost sucked my microphone through the laptop. And so it was, it's just, I, I was like, God dang, get off my man, get off my man's sphincter. And he was something awful. And so, but y'all, letter carriers, look, we love you. And this is all because of you. And it's a regime that has turned its back on the city letter carrier. This is the perfect example of that. What's happened to these individuals is a perfect example of that. And so I will see y'all on the 28th. Y'all have a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays, truly. And so just a little emergency episode for you because it needed to get out there. Social media was running rampant. James wanted you to hear from these individuals themselves exactly what happened. And so that's what we did. And so we will talk to y'all on the 28th. Bye.
Merry Christmas to everybody. And make sure that you guys
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Send your love out to Orlando and Debbie. Again, concernleddycarriers.com. Much love and respect to you two. Much love and respect to all letter carriers.